Hello, and welcome back to Bible Wits Bible Corner. Today we're going to be in the book of John. I'm going to read chapter 8, verses 1 through 11. So a touch of a long reading, bear with me. I'm actually going to start off in verse 53 of chapter 7. They went each to their own house, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning he came again to the temple. All the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. The scribes and Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery and placed her in the midst. They said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. So what do you say?" This they said to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger in the ground. And as they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, "Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her." And once more he bent down and wrote on the ground. But when they heard it, they went away one by one, beginning with the older ones, and Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus stood up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She said, no one, Lord." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and from now on sin no more." All right. New Century Version. Jesus went, and everyone left and went home. Jesus went up to Mount Olives, but early in the morning he went back to the temple, and all the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and they forced her to stand before the people. They said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught having sexual relations with a man who was not her husband. The law of Moses commands that we stone to death every woman who does this. What do you say we should do?" They were asking this to trick Jesus so that they could have some charge against him. But Jesus bent over and started writing on the ground with his finger. When they continued to ask Jesus their questions, he raised up and said, "Anyone here who has never sinned can throw the first stone at her." Then Jesus bent over again and wrote on the ground. Those who heard Jesus began to leave one by one, first the older men and then the others. Jesus was left there alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus raised up again and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one judged you guilty?" She answered, "No one, sir." Then Jesus said, "I also don't judge you guilty. You may go now, but don't sin anymore." Okay, one thing real quick I want to point out is in both translations that I read, there's a little note right above this passage that says a lot of the early surviving manuscripts don't have John chapter 7 verse 53 through chapter 8 verse 11. So obviously it's in the Bible. God wanted it in the Bible for us to read. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out here. These Pharisees and teachers of the law, yes, they were trying to trick Jesus. One thing they forgot is that law also said they weren't just supposed to stone the woman, they were also supposed to stone the man. So where was the man in this act? Why didn't they bring him forward also? And the compassion that Jesus has on this woman at the end. He was the only one in that crowd that had no sin. He could very well have thrown the first stone, but he is compassionate, he is loving, he is caring, and he is forgiving. So, again, that's an example for us to be loving and forgiving towards others. I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.